Welcome to Be a Light with Mushan podcast. I'm your host, Mushan Payerski. I'm so grateful to have you here. This podcast is dedicated to spread kindness, positivity, knowledge, and the power of authenticity and human connection through stories from inspiring individuals who have illuminated my journey. And I hope their stories can inspire you to shine your own light brightly. Each episode is a reminder that no matter where we are in our life, we have the power to be a light for others. Today, we have a special guest, Dr. Jingjing Xu. I met Dr. Jingjing Xu a few months ago over some volunteering speaking events, and we did a few times. At one of the events, I was the moderator and she was the guest speaker, talking about topics around wealth and freedom. After hearing her perspectives and her stories, I discovered that some of her decisions were very daring and unconventional. So I'm sure you will be so inspired by her unique stories. With great pleasure and honor, let's welcome Dr. Jingjing Xu. Welcome, Dr. Jingjing Xu.
Thank you, Muxiang. It's really my honor. Thank you for inviting me. And you can just call me Jingjing. I'm really looking forward to have a really fun and inspiring conversation with you.
Thank you so much. During that panel discussion, we only touched a little bit, but then your story about traveling around the world and quitting a high-paid job immediately caught my attention. As an Asian woman who grew up in a culture that we were taught to stay quiet, work hard, stay in the position that can give you steady life. However, you took such a bold move, and I want to learn about what brought you to that point. You had that kind of courage, had that kind of big action to make that decision. Would you mind to share about your background and what led you to that decision?
Thank you. I would love to. So actually, I was born in Beijing and I grew up in China, but because my mom is was ill, she has to go to hospital often. So from very young age, not even 10, I started cooking for my dad and younger sister. So I've been quite independent since I was very young. And I came to United States to pursue my PhD from Berkeley. It's electrical engineering. And I love the freedom in this country because first time I felt I truly have the space and the courage from myself and people around me to do many things I've been dreamed to do, such as traveling. So
Mhm.
since I came to US, I have been traveling very intensively. And then I always want to see this world. I feel my life journey is to figure out what's this world about with a lot of curiosity. And any chance I got, I will travel far or near. So, and then after I graduate from my PhD, I'm located in Silicon Valley in California. The startup entrepreneurship is everywhere. I
Mhm.
feel it's really well suited my personality. And so I jump into this entrepreneur, startup right away. And very luckily, it was also the good timing because my major was to mobile phone design, the chip design, semiconductor. And at that time, when I graduated, it was truly booming. So quickly, my company was acquired, and then I've been in this, industry for 15 years, such as design iPhone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and MacBook, PowerBook, Northbridge. All these chipsets were designed by my team, and that
Wow.
was really fun. However, 2014, that's the year, I really to achieve all this, success. I
Yeah.
think I paid a lot of price on my health, stress, and then also sacrifice a lot of time being with my young kids. 2014, I think I had a pretty bad health crisis. My body is really giving me huge, loud alarm, which I couldn't ignore or kind of by drinking a lot of coffee
Yeah.
anymore because I couldn't sleep. I'm just tired all the time and brain fog. Anyhow, so I decided I have to take a break. That's when I was trying to make a decision because at that point I was a pretty high position and very high pay. But I think I was truly thinking what's truly important for me. And I realized at that time, my two kids, boy and girl, they were 4 and 6 years old, old
Yeah.
enough to travel,
Yeah.
but yeah, but then still young enough, they won't miss too much schoolwork, right? So
Mhm.
um, it wasn't too hard a decision because I like to experience life. And I think it's important for us to bond, for me to take my kids at young age to truly see the whole world, not just where they
Mhm.
live, right? It's like a
Yeah.
bubble. Anyhow, so I just rented my house and told my boss, I'm going to leave. But they said, okay, we keep your position for a year, hope you will come.
Wow.
So then I took off with my kids and travel around the world for 1 year.
Wow. That's such a big move for I mean it's not very easy for many corporate professionals.
Mm.
And also in your position, basically you also had to risk losing your mm, place, even though your boss said we'll save your position for a year. So when you came back, did you continue that position or you actually quit?
Mm. Actually, I quit half year
Oh,
because
I see.
soon I left the Silicon Valley. At the beginning, you're still kind of had the momentum from the rat race every day,
Yeah.
but then very soon, I think within first months, we went to Iceland. And that's a beautiful land. People call fire and ice. There's a glacier, there's a hot spring, there's lava, Black Pebble Beach is a gorgeous place. And I suddenly realized how crazy the life was.
Uh-huh.
Every day we thought it's normal. And then very quick, I think I had that big switch moment when two kids and we were sitting on a Black Pebble Beach watching the stars, watch the sunset and then the stars. And then it's so close to the stars. And then the kids started running and giggling, like a pick up whatever the things they see. I suddenly had this huge feeling of being happy, the inner peace. I
Yeah.
felt I don't have to run. I don't have to chase anything. I can fully accept me and kids and just feel pure happiness.
Yeah.
That was a big switch. Yeah.
I think that's a pivotal moment of your traveling experience on that journey, right?
Right,
Wow.
right, right.
That's
Yeah. And then a lot of gratitude.
mhm.
I was very grateful. Universe brought us there. We had the opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
In my opinion, really, I feel every family should do some sort of version of that. Even just a summer, the whole
Mhm.
month or 2 months or whatever you can do. That's a great, great gift to your kids and yeah, of course ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Not many people can afford that. I mean, it's of course it's beautiful to travel somewhere without needing to worry about money or life back home. And but definitely you had this condition, and but on the other hand, as you said, they don't have to travel overseas, right? They can find a place close by, probably can fulfill that type of um, experience or that type of dream.
Mm. Because yeah, I am a big believer called the PDF time, right? Playtime, downtime, family time.
Oh,
PDF
PDF
time.
time,
Right.
right?
And a lot of time, when we're in a very high stressful situation, it's kind of like we have a saying in Chinese, right? Boiling the frog in the boiling water. It's slowly cooking. You don't even feel it before you really kind of desperate. I think as long as we can regularly, intentionally put us out of that environment, go to forest, go to lake, go to
Mhm,
some cabin without internet with your family. You can really feel and have opportunity to feel the inner peace.
mm,
Instead of,
yeah,
when we're home, busy is always soccer class, your project deal, this and that
yeah.
birthday party, right? So it kind of really hard to find a big chunk of time for you to
Hmm.
really look inside. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So, uh, based on your experience, what do you think your kids learned the most from that experience? I see what you learned is you found your inner peace. That's
Both, both,
pivotal. Yeah.
both. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think 10 years has passed, right? So
Yes.
back now my kids are 16 and 19. And then they really, I think that's the best thing we have ever done in their life. And although as the parents, we both have, engineering degree, PhD from Berkeley, and their dad from Stanford, but the
Mhm.
two kids, none of them chose engineering as their major.
Oh,
I think, yeah. So my son goes to for psychology, and my daughter loves, some history and journalist, and she is amazing writer. I think that has a lot to do with back then when they were little. I just describe one day, then you know what's it like. When we were in
mhm.
Rome in the morning, we got up and then I showed them Roman Holiday, the movie, famous movie, and then
Yeah.
also a part of a Gladiator. And then the same day, we went to the same sites in the movie. And then they
Oh.
have a book, I bought them book and then they will really put their hands. I don't know you remember in the Roman holiday, there's a scene, they kind of put the hands in and then he pretend got stuck in the
Yes.
hole. So
Yeah.
we went to the same spot. And then when we were visiting the Colosseum, which where the gladiators shoot, right? So, and then we read the history about it. I think and then when we're walking on the Roman streets, my daughter will watch a lot of people, like there's a bikers on the side, and then
Hmm.
so I will explain to them, and then they will even go to try to talk to them. I think they really see the world in real world. And then we
Hmm.
talk about it. Of course, we went to Vatican, all these things. And
Yeah.
I'm a truly believer learning from doing, from experience. At the
Yes.
end of the day, I think it's not really how much money you have, how many branding shoes or bag you have. I think is how much precious memory in your
Hmm.
mind and then how much like beautiful impact you leave to the world.
Yeah, well, I love your message. Totally. It's how rich the life we live. It's not about the length of the life, or it's about what we possess. It's how much we experienced.
Yeah.
That's truly, yeah. Uh, I'm sure your two children are very grateful for that experience. But I remember we took my daughter to European countries, also even to China, Hong Kong. She didn't remember much. I wonder what we did wrong. So, so she wasn't so excited about traveling overseas. Like when she's a teenager, then we said, okay, only when you're very excited about traveling overseas. Otherwise, we only take you to China because that's where we are from. That's where I'm from. China's okay. I will take her, but going to other countries unless she expresses interest, we're not going to take her because perhaps because we took her to some of the cities, we didn't do something like you did to prepare your children, like read books, educate them before experience uh, the sightseeing, the places, the culture there. That's a great lesson actually for parents who are planning to take their young kids to travel overseas.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I really feel make sure no matter how old the kids are, because back then my daughter was almost 5, turning, and then she was very young. However, when we decide where to go, you know,
Oh,
I
oh,
will read the children version of books, and they already knew something about it. And then
mm,
they will highly, I will involve them on a lot of decision making along
yeah,
the way. So that way they feel they're in charge. They're in,
yeah,
they're part of it. And
that's
then
true.
also I feel a lot of moms, right? So we are very capable. We know we can do everything, for them. However, I keep reminder myself and then also the moms in my community who sometimes listen my talk, I say everything you do for your children when they can do themselves, you are
Mm,
actually taking away their opportunity to learn, to do, to master, to be independent.
yeah, I
So,
agree.
right?
Yeah.
So think twice every time before we do something for kids. I'm sure it's come out of the kind intention, the love.
Hmm.
However, that's what kind of love? Is that the true love to empower your children, or
Hmm.
is the love to fulfill your own intention to be needed?
Mm. Wow, that's a big difference that we definitely need to know. This clarity help parents to let go. Sometimes letting go is the great way of showing love in a long run. Um,
Right.
yeah, if just trying to get things more efficient or quickly done, yes, that's easier. Just you do it by yourself. But if you want to model your kids fully capable of handling the true real world, we got to let them learn by themselves.
Yeah, yeah, yes, yes, truly, because I think maybe because our experience. So my kids, they started travel by themselves, like flew to Canada to visit their aunt.
Mm.
My son now even 10 years old. I gave him the passport, I drop him off, and then he will fly on his own. He will
Wow.
handle his luggage and check-ins and security, all that. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's really eye-opening. Well, yeah, thank you for setting such a good role model that for people to follow. And to be honest, my husband and I are not as not as how to say mm, mm,
Courage.
don't yeah not as courageous to let my daughter do that. I
Mm,
mean now probably okay.
yeah.
And tonight, even tonight, I let my daughter cook a meal fully by herself. And my husband was telling me, She wouldn't know." I said, "Let her figure out. There's no failure. There's either
Exactly.
win or learn. She
Yeah.
will figure it out." And it turned out perfect fine.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
every family is different, right? So we don't need to compare with each other. However, I
Yeah.
do think a lot of parents, especially we're from Asia, we believe we need to take care of kids, but then I truly believe we should give kids opportunity, have faith, and believe them,
Yeah.
let them experience. Like you said, no failure, because
No
I
failure.
think,
Yeah.
right, just I don't know how to do it yet, but next time
Mhm.
I learn, I will get better, right? So
Yeah.
give them opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah. Great tips for parenting. I hope our audience is going to apply what they learned to how to uh, get along with the kids better, also educate them better, equip them better with the right tools that
Right.
they can learn by themselves. So
So,
after that trip, after 1 year, do you feel that actually uplifted your career, or it kind of uh, added some, how to say, setbacks for your career growth? I know you did say you quit after half year. I wonder if it's just a different pursuit for different goals, or you felt any pressure from work.
mm, thank you. That was a great question, right? So I think I often use that trip as the divider. The before that was my first half life. After that, I think that trip really awakened me.
Hmm.
Um, because before, also there's a famous book called The Second Mountain.
Okay.
You could find in Amazon, right? And then
Okay.
the first mountain often is from the environment we grew up, what our parents told us, all the community society we lived in. Say, oh, you need to go to good school, get good job, work hard. But a
Yeah.
lot of time during that trip, I had many, many aha moments. I realized what is really important for me. And then, so by choice, I sent in the letter to my company to resign.
Hmm.
And since I came back, I continued my entrepreneurship path. So I founded a progressive learning K to 8 private school. And then
Ah.
I did another um, online education, science-based startup, and
Mm.
then sold it. And then also I was pursuing everything about life science. So I was pursuing nutrition, functional medicine, cellular nutrition. Initially, I was just trying to figure out why I was so sick, although I thought I was exercising, I was doing everything I could. But then doing self-healing, so I got more and more interested and I continued learning. And then I started the next, I founded a nonprofit called the Power of Health
Mm.
Academy because I really want to, share what I learned to a lot of people who were living just like I were before, and
Yeah.
then I truly believe the power of prevention, awakened awareness,
Hmm.
understand something we really need to kind of live the way we're supposed to be, with a harmony, with a conscious, with a healthy, holistic
Yeah.
lifestyle. Anyhow, so you asked me whether if you measure by how much money you earn, then
Yeah.
people will say, oh, that's a big job, from very high pay to okay.
Mm.
However, if from the how satisfied and then how fulfilling I felt it's a big jump, because I
Yeah.
never felt so happy and so connected with so many lives. On daily basis, I felt I have honor and opportunities to impact.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and yeah, I think that's the best choice really made in my life. Mm.
I'm so glad that you have made that choice. That's how we met each other. And
Yeah.
I love that you do a lot of uh, volunteering and community work, nonprofit organization involvement. I definitely can see you are glowing, and I couldn't see you. You were used to be not healthy or strong, and so how? What would you tell someone who are in their maybe 30s? I assume you were probably taking your kids traveling as in the 30s, which is the prime time of a career journey, and they maybe they are kind of on age, but they don't have the courage to take that kind of a big leap
Mm,
to how to say to not care so much about the career growth.
mm.
And what kind of mindset you would like to share? I believe this is a lot about the mindset.
Right, right. Thank you. So you're asking such a good question. Um, Although I talk a lot about being happy, I
Hmm.
think freedom is always very important for me. And then I really work really hard, including my PhD years and then the 15 years in the big tech. So all those years I worked really, really hard. And I saved or earned, enough money in a way to
Hmm.
have the freedom. So when I left the corporate, I was 41, actually, yeah, 41 or 42. So I decided to change. However, I don't want to really not mention about, I think it's important to have material wealth. You know,
Yes.
it's
Hmm.
not fun when you have to live on paycheck to paycheck, and then that's also tremendous pressure, right? Financially. So make sure you don't have to do 0 or 1, like either I'll quit or I feel it's typically fun. You have full-time job, you have kids and all that. But like I said, perhaps you can make a plan or if possible, take more time off with the kids. Because I think success is never end. And it also depends your expectation and how you define success,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you look back, you felt all you remember was work, work, and work. I'm not sure how happy you will feel. So
Yes.
enough is enough. Everybody's enough is your own judgment.
Yes.
However, at that point for me, I felt that I had enough of that life, and then I have a freedom. I can go to do the things I truly desire and I truly feel passionate about. Mm.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much for sharing that. Definitely, freedom is relative. You can't just give up everything and then
Right.
disappear to
Yeah.
enjoy the freedom. That's why this is the topic we had, the panel discussions, wealth and freedom, how we define that. It's truly everyone's personal definition. And also
Definitely.
success. Success is definitely personal definition. Uh,
Mm.
I agree. Very recently, I also had this epiphany. Like I feel like I'm so rich.
That's
Who
awesome.
can say that? Because I
Yeah.
was so happy. I was like, oh, I because recently I was able to run like 8 miles just with one breath, like without stopping. I
Uh,
feel like in my age, and I have this health, and I have a happy family, and I have a job, and I just feel like I just live in my dream. Like I even couldn't dream about it in the past. So I feel like, oh, my life is so rich. It's not just about money. It's
yeah.
about what I overall I have, and I can enjoy it. I truly feel happy, and I'm still kind of learning and trying to be better versions of myself. Yeah.
Mm. I'm
So
so happy for you. I can see your glows, It's really important. I think money cannot buy happiness, but happiness is the most precious wealth for you.
Yes, wow. That is such a profound
Mm.
message that everyone should keep in mind.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what made you to start a school? Because you mentioned about you founded a school and then you just started your entrepreneur journey.
Thank you. Um, it was very after we traveled back from overseas, and it was mid in the middle of the year. I had a trouble to find a school for my daughter. I believe learning is very personalized. You
Mm,
know, every student is different. I do not believe one size fits all, or some parents will say, oh, I have to find the best school for my children. I say there's no best school. There's
mm,
only the most fitted school. You know,
mhm.
like because
Yeah.
every kid's learning style, personality is very different. So my son happily went back to the public school he was in, but my daughter, I couldn't, I took her for many schools and I couldn't find a right one. And then, we being an entrepreneur, you were like, okay, why don't we start one? So I start looking into it. I talked to principals, and there are many, school I like. So I took my daughter to visit this many schools. And long story short, so I got some parents who have similar minded, which is we want to be more project based, which is they longer period of learning time, and then with a lot of hands-ons, out of classroom learning, and learning by level, not by age or grade. So with
Mm,
all this, also global, yeah. So with all this philosophy and thinking, we put a school together with a one head of school and six teachers. They every Wednesday is out of classroom learning, and then all the curriculum, for example, math from K to 8 is all the same time and vertical, hour and a half. So that
mhm.
allow kids really go to their level. Like second graders can go to the fourth grade to learn if they
Oh,
already at that level, and they can go down too. So that keep them really love of learning.
yeah.
Right. And then in the afternoon, instead of they have a very small cohort, sometimes even one student work on their 3 months long projects, apply what they learn. And then with the teacher has group, small group, one-on-one coaching with a different ratio. And then we have Chinese or Spanish as a second language daily. Anyhow,
Wow.
so I think, yeah, kids love it. And then when they learn, they will build a different grade RAM and then made a little wooden car to run from top to bottom. And they will measure the speed, they measure and change the different degree and then see what's the change. And they calculate all kind of fun projects. So yeah, it's the school is still there. We only started with 12 kids and now it's almost 100.
Wow, wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That must be a very impactful and meaningful project for you. And it sounds very creative, very
Mhm.
unconventional. It just suits you so well. What
Right.
yeah, the one word I kind of constantly think about is unconventional. When I think of you, is unconventional. When you took that trip and all these decisions that you make, so creative,
Thank you.
out of box thinking. Yeah,
Mm.
that takes courage. Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
also confidence. You appear to be very confident. And are you always so confident, or did you develop or did you build your confidence over time through your career?
Yeah, thank you. Trust me, I have many times I couldn't do what I wanted to do, but I never call it failure or think it as a failure because I always think that's a part of learning. Without trying, how do you know what doesn't work, right? So I do give credit to my parents, especially my dad, and I want to share with your audience I definitely think they benefit a lot. Even as far as I could remember, even I was a little girl, I had all these crazy ideas. And then
Mm,
no matter how crazy it is, and when I talk to my dad, he never say yes or no or stupid, He would just ask me three questions. One, why do you want to do this? And then he would encourage me to give him three valid reasons. So that made me think, I really have
yeah,
to
yeah.
think, why do I want to do this? And
Mm,
then the second question is, if you don't do this, what you're going to
mm,
miss out, And then the
yeah.
last question is, if you do this successfully, what do you achieve?
Wow.
So these three questions I also apply to my own two children. And they know, oh, here is Mama, her three questions. But I think that really, really helped me to think things through and then build the confidence because I already knew what the worst case if I fail, what
Yeah.
I'm going to miss, And then, but if I see if I fail, then the cost is this much. But if I do this, the gain could be tremendous. For
Yeah.
sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That really let me think through and visualize what's the biggest risk. And there's a lot of time when you think something through, then your fear will go away because you
Right.
understand both sides, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of time the fear is from uncertainty because you
Mm,
didn't think through. Only had that gut feeling is like, oh, no, 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 what if I'm going to fail? For
yeah.
example, if you want to just cross a bridge, a small, maybe narrow bridge over the river, if you look at the river, it's only maybe one couple feet deep. Even you fall, you're not going to drown, right?
Yeah.
Then you shouldn't have any fear to cross. What's the big
Mm,
deal? At the most, you get wet. So what? But
yeah.
if you don't think this, you will be very scared. No, 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 no. I can do this. I cannot do this. And then if you are scared to do things once and twice, how you feel? You will
Mm,
feel less confident. Sometimes people might even feel defeated. Oh, and especially when you see you are scared to do something, but other people did without fear. Your
mm-hmm.
confidence will even go lower,
Yeah.
right? So just, for me, my kids, I just say, dare to try as long as the cost is not permanent.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. Wow, such a philosophical approach. Can I say that? What so deep? Wow, your dad is such a wise man who
Thank you.
taught you such a valuable lesson, and now you can apply that to your life, and also you can teach that to your children. And you just taught me this is a great lesson.
Thank
Uh,
you.
to be honest, I'm not someone who is very rational to like analyze things very carefully. So I do a lot of things by following my feelings. So it's good to actually always to ask ourselves those questions
Mhm.
too when we are facing confusions or challenges. When we are standing at the crossroads, we don't know where to go. So using these questions would help a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also a coach. I've been practice Erickson coaching for many, many years. Um,
Okay.
people are different. There's three type. Some people like to use their brain, and some people a heart, and some people body. So it's, maybe I happen to be the one who use the brain. I should connect with my heart more often, but probably you're more heart people. So everybody's different. Yeah.
Yes. So far, so good. Still, I follow my heart.
Very
Now I
good.
need my brain. Now I need my brain. Well, yeah, definitely will make the decisions and also making the journey a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So
But
when
the goal is really bring the awareness and then connect our mind, body, and the heart
yeah,
together. So
yes,
in harmony. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, big wisdom. Thank you so much for sharing that. Obviously, you have a great support system from your family, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and your father is the number one supporter, and who else in your family actually supported you along your journey?
Along my journey, I think are my kids.
Oh, yeah.
Because my daughter, she's so insightful and truthful.
Uh-huh.
She's a little smart girl, even along when we were traveling, because every day we wrote a blog, and then
Uh-huh.
sometimes it's too busy. I didn't have time. I always ask her, "Oh, what happened 2 days ago?" And she has just even that little, she has amazing memories. But
Yeah.
then I give you an example. I think we were traveling in the forest. I ate apple. I was holding the apple seeds, and then for a while I really couldn't find anywhere. And then I just silently kind of threw the seeds. And then my daughter will pick it up. And then she's like, Mom, there's a sign. You might be invasive, we don't know. So if you want, I can hold it for you. She's
Wow.
very truthful, but also
Wonderful.
loving, very
Yeah.
loving at the same time.
Yeah.
I think my kids really make me become a better version of me. Even
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, parents, I am not that truthful. Sometimes maybe
Yeah.
I try to flourish things, make it look pretty, make it look
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then the kids always, my son is very, how to say, he is very kind. And there's a time, I wasn't kind for some reason, maybe because of time or because of patience, all kinds of reasons. And
Yeah.
then he will always gently show me or point it out.
Wow.
Actually, yeah, so I feel my two kids. And then a lot of time people say, oh my gosh, you have two high schoolers,
Yeah.
the mid-age and teenagers, it just must
Yeah.
be hard. I said, not really, because I did through when we were traveling, we have a tradition. I also
Mm.
want to reach whoever are listening, the parents, especially if you have a little kids, you
Yeah.
know, every day from 7 to 8 p.m. around dinner time, we put everything away, all the devices, phones, and then
Mhm.
just us. And then
Yeah.
we don't talk about people like, oh, how's your grade? How's the exam? How's your games? We
Mm.
don't talk about that. We talk about big things for
Mm.
that dedicate that hour. Even they were little at their level, I will we will talk about, what, the Greek gods, like what happened, there's a war somewhere, or
Mhm.
there's, election going on. What's your opinion? What do you know about this? Or if we say something, we can say, oh, this is from liable sources. How do you know that's
Yeah.
that's true opinion, or is someone for propaganda made it up? So we talk
Yeah.
about all kind of big topics and then I enjoy that more and more when they get older, because now the kids, they know so much.
Yeah.
Right? As a result, I feel my two kids, it doesn't matter what kind of school or score they have, but from the core, they're very kind human being, and they have their critical thinking, and they know they're unique, and they're being loved, and they love people. I think those are very important quality for a human being.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. I gotta say, congratulations. You definitely did win the lottery of
Thank you.
having two awesome kids, and also definitely you did your parenting successfully.
Trust me, there's a lot of big holes I fell, but then we kind of keep the faith, we climb up and learn and hopefully do better next time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Based on what you shared with me, seems that their father is missing from the picture. I don't know if you are comfortable to share a little bit about your private life.
Sure, sure. Yeah, thank you, Muxiang. I feel we have been hosting program together. We're very connected. you
Yes.
know, yeah, so their father, we were together for 18 years. And he's a genius. He's a PhD from Stanford. We did the first couple of startup together. But
Yes.
however, I think later on, we have some different opinions and different goals in life, right?
Yes.
So we did end up apart. However, we had some rules, it was it's civil, I cannot say friendly because it's hard for divorced couple to be truly friendly. I mean, there people can do that, but not our case. But
Mm.
we never say bad things about each other in front of kids. I always tell them your dad love you and he's the best dad,
Yeah.
in the world, right? Vice versa. And then also we only talk about kids related things.
Mm.
So, and then 5 years ago, I got remarried to my current husband, and he is my ocean, my
Yeah.
mountain. He make me feel very I truly understand what's a true love, what's a partner, good partner relationship should be. And then he loves
Yeah.
my kids love him.
Mm.
So now the two kids really feel there's two family or two dads truly love them, more
Yeah.
adults, more two sets of grandparents, from both
Yeah.
sides. So yeah, I think in that way, I'm very grateful.
Wow, wow. Yeah, it's such a blessing to be able to resolve from the challenges that you have from the first marriage. And it doesn't feel like you guys have such a bad experience. Some people actually, yeah, even have worse situations. And I'm so glad now actually your kids are loved. That's the most important thing by two families.
Mm.
uh,
Yeah, I do want to say something for maybe the friends who are going through
mhm.
divorce or
Yes.
still recovering from it,
Yes.
because don't take me wrong, it is a very difficult and sometimes a very heartbroken experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
However, there's a saying, you are owner of your own life,
Hmm.
because impossible, I often say, it's impossible to change others, others whatever personality, but you can always have full control of your own, right? If you decide to be happy, then you cannot do that at that moment, but you can make the decision and work on it.
Yeah.
Little by little you will become happier and happier. And really, I think it took me 2 years to work on resentfulness, forgiveness, all the, a lot of histories. But
Mhm.
after that, I think getting time is the best cure. It's the old saying. A lot of time
Mhm.
when you're in the middle of it, hard to believe. But however, took me 2 years to heal, and then another couple years to really to transform. To so I started working on myself. I took more serious on coaching, meditation, and then dedicate to helping others, including
Mhm.
building schools and all that. And then when time comes, you will find the person who supposed or should be there for you.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. I'm so happy for you. I'm so
Yeah.
happy for how it turned out and seeing the joy like overflow on your face. I can
Thank
see
you.
that. Yeah, very, you are true. Also, the inner peace and happiness is I can tell just from your smile and your
Thank you.
messages, and so positive, so encouraging. And so we're about to wrap up our conversation. I loved what you shared with me, and I hope our listeners have received just as powerful messages and being empowered just as me. So, are there any parting words you would like to share with our listeners?
Thank you so much again. Muxiang, it is such a pleasure and honor to be invited to talk to you. Um, I want to give this word especially to women. Dare to think, dare to dream. And once you truly understand what is important for you, go for it and try it, do it, experience it. You will love it.
Wow, love it, love it. Thank you. Thank you so
You.
much, Jingjing. It's such a pleasure to have you here, such an honor to have you to share your ocean of wisdom here with us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah. Okay. For our listeners, if you find this episode valuable to you, please like, share, and subscribe. And you are here and you listen to the end of this episode, I'm sure because you are in the light of our guest speaker, Dr. Jingjing Xu. And you can be a light too. Just spread the kindness and the positivity with the people around you. And be kind to yourself, be kind to the people around you. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.